from Sage Publishing is titled Developing Theory Through Qualitative Inquiry. And my keynote address today presents selections from the preface and the first chapter of that book to preview its major premises. Developing Theory Through Qualitative Inquiry discusses the fundamentals of qualitative theory development, offers various definitions of theory, presents multiple examples of theories from different disciplines, and includes activities for exercising the skills necessary to develop an original theory. As a novice qualitative research student in the 1990s, I eagerly read as many titles in qualitative inquiry as I could. What disappointed me, though, was the lack of details in those materials about theory and theorizing. Virtually every book assumed that the reader already knew the definition of theory and examples of theories. But in the 1990s, I was an outsider to the social sciences, and as a theater artist and English educator, I was versed primarily in dramatic, literary, and educational theory, different forms and approaches altogether. Even in the 21st century, many methods books and qualitative research skip the definition of theory and provide no explicit examples for readers. So I assembled and consolidated from different publications my own constructions and understandings of theory. This is the book that I wish I would have had 3 decades ago as a beginning student of qualitative inquiry, and that is the targeted readership for this introduction to the topic. I acknowledge that most of you here are already well-versed in theories and theorizing, so some of the information presented today will already be known to you. Therefore, receive the talk through a pedagogical lens to assess how introductory content might be presented to your students. One of choreographer Twyla Tharp's most well-known theories for artists is, before you can think outside of the box, you have to start with a box. As a research methods educator, I firmly believe that students need to know the rules before they can break them. I do not address selected approaches to theory development from contemporary perspectives such as post-structuralism, post-humanism, or new materialisms. I write with a pedagogical goal of presenting a comprehensive introduction to developing conventional theories derived primarily from qualitative inquiry. Also, I don't focus on established historic and contemporary theorists like Karl Marx, Judith Butler, and so on, because their works are self-standing, well-known in scholarship, and they're already addressed in other writers' analyses. Instead, I showcase in this book generalists' theories from multiple disciplines whose rich, insightful work may not be as well-known and deserves exhibition, citation, and reference. In Chapter 1, I begin with defining terminology. Several conceptual terms exist in scholarship that most people generally and intuitively understand, but may be hard-pressed when called upon to provide succinct and precise definitions. Among these elusive terms are
recording in
art,
progress,
identity, culture, meaning, power, and theory. If you access a dictionary and read its definitions for theory, you might observe that these presumably authoritative definitions are better suited for theories regarding the physical and the natural sciences, where experimental, statistically derived rules and laws are terms suggesting patterns of observation and occurrence that are irrefutable. But since qualitative inquiry focuses on the lived experiences of humans and their products for investigation, the idiosyncrasy of life and the sometimes unpredictable actions of people interacting in the world make it difficult, if not impossible, to formulate unwavering rules and laws that govern and predict social action. One of astrophysicist Neil deGrasse Tyson's oft-quoted tweets reads, "In science, when human behavior enters the equation, things go nonlinear. That's why physics is easy and sociology is hard." Swedberg reminds us that the Greek origin of the word theory, theorin, means to observe, and contemplate. Every field of study has developed theories for centuries through quantitative, qualitative, and mixed methods research. And with that has emerged several operating definitions of theory from and for multiple disciplines. There are no standardized, universally accepted definitions of terms such as theory, theoretical, and theorize. Just 3 of dozens of them from qualitative methodologists include: theory is a unified, systematic causal explanation of a diverse range of social phenomena. Theory, an explanatory scheme comprising a set of concepts related to each other through logical patterns of connectivity. Theory can simply be seen as a thinking tool we use in our attempts to explain human behavior. It is a guide to help us understand why humans do and think the things they do. Now, these definitions are elegant, but there is so much more to defining and developing a theory. Some terms hold such conceptual magnitude that they defy a concise definition. Me and my co-author, Matt O'Masta, discuss theory in qualitative research as a summative, culminating formulation from fieldwork and data analysis. But there's no foolproof algorithmic path to creating a theory, just heuristics or methods of discovery that may lead to constructing one. And there are so many different types, levels, and genres of theory that a perfect, all-encompassing definition is virtually impossible to formulate. My definitional framework of theory is still evolving, and at this time, and after a review of the qualitative methods literature and a cursory content analysis, I propose that there are 6 essential properties inherent in a theory. A theory in traditional social science is a research-based statement with 6 properties and an accompanying explicating narrative. A theory, most often, expresses a patterned relationship between 2 or more concepts, predicts and/or manages action through propositional logic, accounts for parameters of and/or variations in the empirical observations, explains how and/or why something happens, sometimes by stating its causes, suggests generalizability and/or transferability to related social contexts, and provides insights and/or guidance for improving social life. Just a few theoretical statements from various disciplines as concrete examples of theories are: children come to define themselves in terms of how they think their parents see them. A barrier is only possible if enough gather. You can only counter a momentum by achieving a counter momentum. Fiction is rooted in play and virtual reality, which allow people to imagine themselves as they would like to be, fear to be, or have repressed. There are 3 major caveats on a theory's 6 properties that should be understood and accepted. First, most social science theories as research-based statements are composed from the systematic analysis of empirical materials. Multifaceted researcher W. Edwards Deming is known for his claim, "Without data, you're just another person with an opinion." Miles Huberman and Saldaña add, "Without verification, you're just another researcher with a hunch." Now, granted, an armchair theory can be formulated from experiential reflection and contemplation alone. But if research is an act of persuasion, then a body of evidence will more likely support your claims and convince your audiences. Sir Arthur Conan Doyle's astute detective Sherlock Holmes mused, "It is a capital mistake to theorize before one has data. Insensibly, one begins to twist facts to suit theories instead of theories to suit facts." Proverbs and folk wisdom passed down through the generations in literature and the oral tradition may not have been systematically and empirically tested, but they have emerged from centuries of human experience, and many will testify to their truth value and applicability. To add another witticism of uncertain origin, in God we trust, all others must have data. For the second caveat, I assert that theory is in the eye of the beholder. A statement claimed by one researcher as a theory might be considered flawed by a peer reviewer or an audience of colleagues. If social scientists can't even agree on a definitive meaning for a theory, then they most likely will disagree on what is and what is not a theory. Since research is an act of persuasion, it is up to the theoretician to phrase the theory carefully and provide evidence of a theoretical statement's truth value through supporting data and an accompanying explicating narrative. And since theory is in the eye of the beholder, what I myself consider a valid theoretical statement broadens into other representations aside from those systematically derived. I consider selected philosophical statements, proverbs, selected quotations from actual persons and fictional literature, and even some contemporary social media memes insightfully theoretical. If we subscribe to Friedrich Nietzsche's "there are no facts, only interpretations," then by extension, there are no theories, only subjectively derived insights. There's a saying from a composite of other sayings that goes, "I can't explain what great art is, but I know it when I see it." I sometimes admit to myself, I can't explain what a great theory is, but I know it when I read it. A theoretical statement stands out from its surrounding prose. It is a significant sentence written in the present tense with magnitude and a rich accompanying narrative that transcends descriptive facts because it's perceived as an insightful idea. If I finish reading a sentence and I have to stop and think about what I just read, or if I'm intrinsically motivated to reread the sentence because the vocabulary and the syntax are fairly complex, or if the sentence makes me think, I never thought of that before, or if I react with, wow, or great idea, at the power of the sentence's social insight, then what I have just read and interpreted was most likely a theory. For the third caveat, it's unlikely that a one-sentence theoretical statement will possess all 6 properties listed earlier. Most theories will overtly include at least 3 to 4 properties, while the other 2 to 3 may be implied or inferred. And since a one-sentence theory usually contains density and richness as a topic sentence, its accompanying explicating narrative, ranging anywhere from a few sentences to an extended essay to a book-length treatise, is a necessary argument to unpack the theoretical statement's meanings and implications. Max Fisher, in his synthesis of social media research's detrimental effects on humans, proposes the theory, the single most powerful force on social media is identity. So let's examine this claim for how it embodies or implies the 6 properties of a theory. First, the concepts of Fisher's theory include force, social media, and identity. We can confidently claim that Fisher's theory includes 3 concepts, or that is, abstractions, which are essential elements or the building blocks of conventional social science theories. For the second property, predicting and or managing action through propositional logic, a proposition is structured at its most basic as an A leads to B or if-then connective statement. The theory, the single most powerful force on social media is identity, meets this property because it suggests process, that one thing is strongly influenced and affected by the other. As for prediction, that element of the property is inferred in the statement, as it suggests and foreshadows that social media will influence and affect personal identity. The third property, parameters and or variation, is boldly claimed by Fisher through the use of the single most powerful force. Although theories should be constructed to accommodate their boundaries of applicability, such as population, settings, and time, claiming that something is the single most of something else is a strong parameter-setting phrase. Another conceptual parameter is social media, meaning that the theory applies to those who use it. The fourth property, explaining how and or why something happens, is not overtly stated in Fisher's theory. Though causation is suggested, the statement itself offers no reason or rationale. So that will be the necessary function of the accompanying explicating narrative. Elsewhere in his book, Fisher claims that social media exerts such a powerful pull on our psychology and our identity, and is so pervasive in our lives that it changes how we think, behave, and relate to one another. The fifth property, generalizability and transferability, is limited to those who use social media, albeit over half the world's population accesses it daily. A theory that applies to over 4 billion people is certainly noteworthy and may be comfortably assumed as generalizable. The sixth property, improving social life, is also not overtly contained in the theory and must therefore be relegated to the accompanying narrative. If social media is the single most powerful force affecting people's identities, is that for the better or for the worse? Well, Fisher claims in his book-length work that it is unfortunately the latter. The data analysis needed to reach a theory doesn't always have to adhere to the linear numeric order of the 6 properties just profiled. Theorizing is a systematically holistic venture consisting of rigorous analysis coupled with creative thought and assemblage. Lynn Richards states that theories come in all shapes and sizes. Several methodologists write about little t and big T theories, meaning the former theorizing about the case, the local, or what has been termed the substantive, and the latter is more formal, grand, and universally applicable. There are also mid-range theories which fall arbitrarily between the two extremes. But I myself prefer to employ 3 other terms from the literature regarding the magnitudes or levels of theory. Idiographic theory, also known in the literature as substantive theory, case theory, local theory, mini-theory, or micro-theory, accounts for a single case, a theoretical statement that applies to particular contexts bounded by population, setting, time, and so on. An example comes from my field experiment using Augusta Boal's Theater of the Oppressed approaches to teach bullying reduction strategies to 4th and 5th grade children at one suburban elementary school. The data analysis and interpretations were based on data such as participant observation, field notes, interviews with students and teachers, research team journals, children's writings, and so on. One of the primary theories developed was based on extensive amounts of data, but the theory's applicability was limited to this particular project's residency. Theater of the Oppressed overtly reveals the interpersonal social systems and power hierarchies within a classroom microculture. The accompanying explicating narrative explains. To Boal, Theater of the Oppressed is rehearsal for the revolution. With ages 9 to 11 children, however, TO seems more like an audition for pre-adolescent social interaction. Theater of the Oppressed shows which children are leaders, followers, and resistors, who is influential and who is ignored, which children may continue to assert dominance in later grade levels, and which children may succumb to those with more authority in later grade levels. The research team for this project reached this conclusion based on our experiences at one elementary school with a particular number, age range, grade range, and demographic of children. Since we did not conduct this field experiment at multiple sites with different school cultures, our ideographic theory cannot claim generalizability to other classrooms. As Frank cautions with a methodological theory, classrooms are particular social settings, many cultures in themselves that are not universal. But ideographic theories derived from case studies can contribute incrementally to the support of existing and forthcoming theories. Readers of ideographic theories might also infer transferability of the study's unique findings to other comparable contexts. The next level, experiential theory, also called practitioner theory and somewhat comparable to what's called personal, mid-range, or middle theory, is generated from the accumulation of personal, practical, and lived experiences gained through time. Professionals in certain applied fields, such as teaching, nursing, management, social work, and counseling, cultivate insider ways of working and that based on their frequent interactions with students, clients, customers, and so on. Psychotherapists may anecdotally share among themselves practitioner theories formulated from years on the job, such as, some people don't want to be healed. High school educator Anthony Arena shared in one of his webinars a practitioner theory that virtually all veteran teachers already know. All students can love learning if they just find something they love learning about. Now, to be sure, research has been conducted that corroborates most practitioner theories developed from contemplation, such as Schoen's reflective practice. Experiential theories also include the accumulation of personal insights and wisdom, philosophical life lessons, plus guidance and counsel gained from and shared through lived experiences across time. The experiential can be found in selected cultural, social, and religious traditions, codes, and tenets. And these theoretical statements align closely with what most people commonly term as morals, proverbs, folk wisdom, or street theory. Classic proverbs and selected themes from the literature and the oral tradition can also function as experiential theories. The one with enemies gets little sleep. There is pattern and purpose to everything. If we are true to ourselves, we cannot be false to anyone. Now, some scholars may not acknowledge folklore or fictional literary materials as rigorously theoretical, but the examples just listed, plus many others, meet most of the 6 properties of a social science theoretical statement. The third level, nomothetic theory, also known as formal, general, grand, and macro theory, accounts for many cases. This is a theoretical statement with broad applicability and sometimes embodies dense concepts. One example is Lev Vygotsky's observation of how the child learns through the social worlds of teachers, parents, and generations passed through the developmental theory, we become ourselves through others. Another is philosopher Michel Foucault's well-known social theory, where there is power, there is resistance. Nomothetic theory attempts to transcend bounded contexts such as populations, setting, and time in order to posit, for lack of a better phrase, a semi-universal truth applicable to a variety of contexts. Nomothetic theories for any discipline are the most challenging to develop, but they are the ones that make a substantial contribution to the literature and the ones that most scholars and practitioners will remember and utilize. The academic literature varies in terms and definitions for levels of theory. Some might label a nomothetic theory a meta-theory or a grand theory, while others assign the label grand to major genres such as Marxist theory, feminist theory, and the like. Kell explains grand theories relate to all social phenomena, regardless of time and space, and make universal claims applicable to all societies at all times. Most often, researchers will not begin their investigations with the goal of developing a particular level of theory. Theory development from case studies and a relatively small number of participants tends to remain at the ideographic level, but the ability of the researcher to transcend the case toward the experiential or even the nomothetic level is a matter of writing a persuasive argument for generalizability or transferability. The varieties of theories in the social sciences can be classified in several ways: paradigmatically, epistemologically, interdisciplinary, and so on. I prefer to categorize theoretical statements according to their primary structural purposes in order to enhance the typology's applicability to multiple disciplines. But this is admittedly a fluid typology with porous borders, because a theory can be both explanatory and predictive, or both evaluative and moral. So it's not essential that your own theory restrict itself to just one of these purposes. My general typology of 12 theory types is not intended to standardize the classification of theories, but to illustrate theories' various functions as a result of data analytic outcomes. Theories of description or cataloging. Love can be understood as comprising three components: intimacy, passion, and decision commitment. Theories of method or technique. Case studies can be used to confirm or refute theory. Theories of sequence, action, or process. Post-traumatic stress arising from chaotic war experiences can lead to feeling trapped with no exit. Theories of correlation or interrelationship. Social media is often equated with triviality and narcissism. Theories of explanation or rationale. Control is why brains are on constant alert for the unexpected. Theories of change or development. Life stories are not static. Memories and meanings of experiences change as time passes. Theories of causation or consequence shackles the imagination. Theories of prediction or caution. Female employees may face barriers of empathy from male executives. Theories of assessment or evaluation. Not everything that's measurable is important, and not everything that's important is measurable. Theories of social commentary or critique. Perhaps poverty is neither cause nor effect, but rather a reflection of an underlying social disease, namely inequality and economic segregation. Theories of philosophy, guidance, or counsel. When you know better, you do better. Theories of morality, justice, or policy. Without humanity, we lose our ability to understand others. This list is not exhaustive, but serves as an initial repertoire of purposes for composing your theoretical statements. If theories are analytic outcomes, then consider how your research methodology influences the type of theory you construct. Grounded theory suggests strings of theories about process and causation. Critical ethnography or action research will most likely create theories of change, social commentary, injustice. In Chapter 1, I also discuss the differences between a theory, an assertion, and a hypothesis. A hypothesis, as most of you know, is a tentative statement whose veracity is tested through empirical methods. This is pre-theory or theory in progress speculation that will be confirmed or disconfirmed through ongoing data generation and analysis, then revised as needed to accommodate the evidence for a theoretical statement. This does not suggest that qualitative theory follows quantitative research's null hypothesis testing for an either-or determination of effects through experimentation and statistical reasoning. Naturalistic methods sometimes proffer predictions of what will most likely happen in the field or appear in the data. The evidence generated will suggest if the predictions the researcher makes are supported by the findings. If not, the hypothesis is revised to accommodate the previous findings and tested again in the field for corroboration or continued revision. The qualitative analysis process, as you know, is cyclical. Each iteration of hypothesis revision should come closer and closer to confirmation and thus a theory. Why theorize? Tracy outlines 4 contributions that theory offers. First, new theories contribute substantially to the body of knowledge in a discipline. New theories bring concepts together in undiscovered and unique ways. Theories become a scholarly repertoire of ideas that accumulate over time to enhance the knowledge base and practice of professionals and academics. Good theories advance a field. Second, a theory can motivate other researchers to test or revise the theory through empirical materials. Theories are always works in progress. An intriguing theory you develop might be taken up by a future researcher as part of their conceptual framework and research design to explore and possibly fine-tune the theory with different participants and contexts. Third, theory can make research relevant and applicable to the general public. It is portable and it resonates. And fourth, theory can help people make sense of life. Theory shouldn't be limited to the academic communities and published only in peer-reviewed journals. Public scholarship can disseminate theoretical ideas in accessible forms to everyday citizens through social media, trade books, and in news outlets for reportage and promotion. As research continues and new discoveries are made, previously established theories will be continuously revised. And we ourselves recently witnessed in real time the fluctuating, ever-evolving scientific hypotheses and theories about the COVID-19 pandemic, its variants, management, and treatments. In addition to developing new theories, Ravitch and Riggin and Salmons offer accessible overviews of how pre-established theories can help a forthcoming research study. Theories constructed by other researchers provide paradigmatic lenses, filters, and angles for a study's conceptual or theoretical framework. Established theories, also known as formative theories for the researcher, contribute to the literature review and research design, influencing decisions ranging from participant sampling to data generation to data analysis methods. Several qualitative methodologists attest that our preliminary design choices are influenced by theory, whether we're aware of it or not. One cannot not have a theory. Thus, the researcher is encouraged to reflect on what tacit theories might underpin the project's design and execution. Qualitative methodologist Lorian Jordan insightfully observes, "I think theories come to you when you need them the most." Composing an original theory may seem like a Herculean task to some, but from my own experience, it consists primarily of 2 skills: the ability to synthesize the multiple findings generated from data analysis, and careful attention to every word selected for the theoretical statement. Fetterman reassures us that theories need not be elaborate juxtapositions of constructs, assumptions, propositions, and generalizations. They can be mid-level or personal theories about how the world or some small part of it works. So to recap the working definition of theory for this textbook, a theory in traditional social science is a research-based statement with 6 properties and an accompanying explicating narrative. A theory, most often, expresses a pattern relationship between 2 or more concepts, predicts and or manages action through propositional logic, accounts for parameters of and/or variation in the empirical observations, explains how and/or why something happens, sometimes by stating its causes, suggests generalizability and/or transferability to related social contexts, and provides insights and guidance for improving social life. Most theories will overtly include at least 3 to 4 of the 6 properties, while the other 2 to 3 may be implied or inferred. I have presented just a short series of excerpts from Chapter 1, from Developing Theory Through Qualitative Inquiry, and the remaining chapters focus on each of the 6 properties in detail, along with diagramming and evaluating theories. I hope the book contributes substantially to the qualitative methods literature, and I look forward to your honest response. Thank you.